So Linda, how does a support coordinator connect a young person living in aged care to services?
When I first meet a client, it's an opportunity for me to say, hey, this is me, this is what I can do for you, and sort of go through their plan. Then I give them the option of deciding if they want to take me on as their support coordinator. So during the course of someone's plan, if they're in a 12-month plan, the first 3 months you're establishing that relationship, you're building that understanding of what's in the plan, what they can actually get with that plan, you're connecting them to the service providers, you're ensuring that those service providers are quoting correctly, the service agreements are good, they're legal, there's nothing binding or exploiting in there. The next 6 months where you're just keeping in touch with them, maintaining that relationship, checking in with the service providers, making sure everything's fine. Then when it comes to like 4 months before the plan review, you're back out there and you're going through goals. What have you achieved? What haven't you achieved? Why do you think you didn't achieve these? What new goals do you want? Where do you think your funding lacked? Where do you think your funding, maybe you didn't need that? So you're going through this whole revision process. So it is a team effort, particularly if you've got someone with very complex needs. You need to have everybody working from the same sheet, basically. Being able to work closely with an allied professional on really understanding what they're saying and what they're putting into their recommendations, that's vital. When someone comes up for plan review, I put the email out to say, send in your reports, talk to me, what do you think worked and what do you think didn't. That's really important, because if you don't get the input from those service providers, you're missing a lot of what's actually happening in their day-to-day life. So collaboration, massive part of what we do.
So Linda, what are some of the barriers to implementing plans and services for some of your clients?
So there's an assumption that the aged care is going to take care of a certain amount of daily care, but then that takes away that choice and control. So there's always a case of we have visiting GPs, we have visiting OTs, we have visiting physios, but they do have the option of finding someone outside of the nursing home. The participant retains choice and control even when they go into the aged care system. So they still have that choice of saying, that's great, but I want to keep my physio, or I want to keep the OT I've been working with. So it's really important that the nursing homes, and they do understand, there's not a kind of, no, you can't bring another person in. You still get to keep all of your supports if you want. If you want to go out into the community, we can still send your support worker in to pick you up and take you out for the day and things like that.
What do you reckon, Greg?
There's not enough service providers that will actually go out and work in these rural and remote communities. You get a plan, but they don't take into consideration the lack of service providers, the amount of transport that can get clocked up for someone having to drive 2 hours to spend 3 hours with the participant. And that's a big deal, because that means that we've got guys out in really rural and remote areas that have gone from getting 80 hours a week support down to 20 hours a week support, because they simply can't send a support worker out there anymore with the amount of funding they've got. One of the strategies that I'm working on when I go out into these rural communities, I'm looking at skills within the community and looking at ways that we can transition those skills into jobs, build a local workforce to meet local work needs. And as I say, it's not just building capacity within the participant, you're also building capacity within the family and within the community. You have to be able to have that experience and understanding of networking. So it's not just a case of, I understand my participant really well, you've also got to understand the market.